Hello PrepperNet, this is Bravo65. Just wanted to do a quick video on setting up your Pi Star. This one is going to be for the SkyBridge from BridgeCom. So this is going to be a simplex MMDVM that the BridgeCom guys sell, and it's called the SkyBridge 2, I think. It's the newest one out. So let's take just a quick run and see how we do some of the settings on this. So there's our dashboard. Just a couple things to point out in the dashboard real quick. You're going to see the DMR, it's got to be green. The DMR net's got to be green. The listening can be green or orange. If it's orange, that means it just finished transmit and it's actively listening for a quick call. After a few seconds, that thing will turn from orange to green, and it's sitting there listening in the background for anybody to call. And of course, TS2, time slot 2, is enabled. And you'll see down here that we're using both modes, Brandmeister and TGIF. So in order to use a TGIF, you have to use the document that we posted in Mighty Networks. Thanks to Jeremy DF12 for coming up with that document. So a really good document on how to set those up so that you don't have to go in here and change it all the time. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we go into the configuration up here, let's go ahead and start at the top and work our way down. On the simplex, the SkyBridge is a simplex node, which means it only uses one frequency. So you're going to set that to simplex, and the SkyBridge is an MMDVM, so it's going to be MMDVM host. Those two have to be checked. Okay, and then we're going to look at the MMDVM host configuration. Make sure your DMR mode is set to on, which is your red on there. All of these can stay default. Not much is going to change there. Down here, your MMDVM display type is going to be your Nextion. The port's going to be modem. And the layout is going to be ON7 LDS L3. So let me scroll down here. We'll look at the general configuration here. Scroll all the way up on that. So in our general configuration, it's going to come with Pi Star. You're going to put your call sign, you're going to put your DMR ID. It should come with a default frequency. You can use that or you can change it. So you can see mine, it's got green in there, so it's good to go. You can put your latitude and longitude in there if you want. You can put your city and state, your country. This is kind of important on the URL, because I know Brandmeister uses QRZ to make sure you are good or a ham in there. So HTTPS://. So the S is in there, secure socket layer. And then QRZ.com/DB/your call sign. So that's important. Make sure it's got the QRZ.com/DB/your call sign. And the modem type you're going to use for the SkyBridge is going to be MMDVM, HS, dual band for Pi, GPIO. Now you can hit this down there, and some people probably got it set that way, and it might work. But the best setting, because it keeps wanting to revert back to that one, to use is what's on there. But if you can see, you could go scroll down this list, and you'll see that there's a SkyBridge. Right here. You don't want to use that one. That's their old SkyBridge, so you don't want to use that one right there. That's the older model. Whoops, sorry about that. That's the older model they've got out right there. So you want to use the one that we have in there, the MMDVM HS dual band for Pi GPIO is the one you want to use in there. So you can have your APRS host enabled if you want to. I use APRS. Make sure you're set to public. That way, you know, if you're taking somewhere, people can get on there. You can set it to private you want. Nobody else can use it. But if I'm somewhere and I don't mind if people use my hotspot if they want to, you know, get on DMR, because it's going to be a ham radio person anyway. And let me just scroll down some more here. We'll go with the DMR configuration. So in here, you're going to be set up for DMR gateway when you're running both Brandmeister and TGIF. So if you're running just TGIF, you'd go hit your down arrow and go find the TGIF network. If you're running Brandmeister, you can just put Brandmeister 3104 up here. So, but mine's set for both, so I'm using the DMR gateway. I'm using the 3104 United States as the master. And that way, that's for the East Coast. If you're central, you might be 3102. Left coast there, you might be 3103. Don't forget to put your hotspot security in there. It's going to be your password that you set up for your hotspot and for Brandmeister. So it's got to be a simple one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E, F, ABC 1, 2, 3. It's got to be a simple password. It can't be a complicated password that you set in there. So make sure it's a simple password. The ESS ID, if you've only got one hotspot, you can leave it at none. Now I've got 5 hotspots, I think it is, and plus a bunch of other stuff. And so this one is set to none. My next hotspot, I can hit that down arrow and it'll be 01. My second one or third one's an 02. My fourth one or third and fourth one's 03, and so on and so on. You see what I'm saying? But the more hotspots you add, you're going to have to hit that down arrow to distinguish that you have multiple hotspots, or it won't pick them up. Make sure your Brandmeister network enable is turned on right here. And that you can go all the way down here. And the main one down here is your TMR dump data, or DMR dump TA data. Just make sure that's checked, turned on. Everything else on the configuration page, whoops, I keep losing my thing here because I'm got my thing sitting on not a tripod, but just a little stand, and I'm holding it. Everything else is going to be default, except for you are going to put whatever. If you're hooked into wired, it's going to be wired. But if you got a wireless network, you're going to put your wireless networks in here. And you can configure multiple ones. You can go up here to configure Wi-Fi's. Like I got a Wi-Fi in the house. I got one in the car, my phone. A lot of different ones use different Wi-Fi. So you can put multiple Wi-Fi profiles in there, and it'll pick up whichever one that it's closest to. So those settings are your main settings for your main page. And like I said, you'll have to use that document in Mighty Networks to get the TGIF syntax that you need copied over. But once you get it copied over, and this is where you do it. You see the expert up here? A little hand going there. If you click on expert mode, go to full edit right here, DMR gateway. You can see my mouse moving there. And I'm going to pause this for a second while I cover, not pause it, but hey, we'll show my outside here while I'm changing my password so it's not seen in there. I'll just make a little bit of the password. Okay, and then we'll go back down here. Okay, the TGIF usually picks up what's called network 4. You can see it right here. This is what you'll copy in from that document that's out on Mighty Networks. You'll copy this into this dashboard right here. And everything will be kind of default, TGIF network, and this will all be default until you get down to here. The address used to be prime.tgif.network. It is now that they've combined Prime and Legacy. Now it's just TGIF network. So make sure your address equals tgif.network. And you're going to have, that's just part of my password. It's a lot longer. TGIF has a long password, and I just deleted some of that out of there just for security purposes. So make sure you get your TGIF password and you paste it in there, and then you put your DMR ID in there. So that's the key to getting that work, is to have that set up just like that. So everybody can see that network 4 in there. And that should get you set up for TGIF and Brandmeister at the same time. Now, of course, before you do anything, you're going to want to go to your backup restore. Go up here, backup restore, before you make any changes. Before you make any changes. Should have probably told you that in the very beginning. Do the backup restore, and then choose the backup, which is this option here. And that'll back it up to your, you put it somewhere on your computer and back it up. That way, if something gets screwed up, you can always just go back and do a restore, which is right here. This is your restore. And it'll put it back the way you had it before you made any changes. And also, one of the things you want to do after you get your configuration and stuff in there you want to hit the update button right here. And what that update button does is it goes out and gets the latest host files. It doesn't upgrade your firmware. That's a thing you have to do externally. You have to go to update in order to update your host files. So once you do that, you can see the computer is going out and looking for the latest host files right there. And like some of you may be trying to update from 3101 to 3104. But if you haven't updated your host files lately, which you should probably do at least once a month, I'd say every 2 weeks, just go in and hit update on your Pi-Star and update your host files. That way you've always got the latest host files in there. If not, you probably won't see the 3104 because that's new. That's taken over the 3101 master for Brandmeister. So if you don't see it, it's because you have not updated your host files. So this takes, I don't know, maybe a minute in there, sometimes maybe 2 minutes, but usually not very long. There it goes. Done, starting services, and update complete, and then you'll say finish. There's the finished. So we're completely done now. Everything's up to date. We're running both Brandmeister and TGIF. You go to our dashboard, and of course down here you can see that we're running both Brandmeister and TGIF. And you'll see what happens when I come up. You'll see it. I'm going to transmit here. This is N4SOI testing. You can see over there that it turned red. This was the latest. This turned red up here, and this turned red down here. It is Bravo 65. Sorry about that, PrepperNet. Had to do a quick edit. You might have noticed I cut off abruptly. I accidentally hit the wrong button on the phone and switched it off. But just a quick demonstration of when we transmit. You're going to see some red appear up here as I'm indicating I'm transmitting. You're going to see the RSSI. That's going to indicate that I'm transmitting. And then over here where it says radio info and listening, you're going to see that indicate that we are in transmit mode also by turning red. So I'm going to go ahead and transmit a test here. This is N4SOI testing once again. N4SOI testing. So as you can see there, those two things turn red. You can see the listening is now orange, so it's actively listening for a quick response. After a few seconds, that actually goes back to green, putting it in a passive listening state versus the active listening state. And that will turn green. But we are successfully transmitting and receiving audio from TGIF as well as Brandmeister. So that's how you set up the SkyBridge, and those are all the settings. You can look back through the settings if you need to look at anything, and you should be good to go. Thank you. Once again, 73, it's Bravo 65.